Good morning, everybody. This week we are having a think about self-confidence. I'm just going to post to my group. Give me just a second. So we're having a think about self-confidence this week. And I really want to get to the real core of my beliefs around self-confidence, and why some people struggle with it. Now, self-confidence is, in my opinion, is just kind of like the general way we feel about our ability to do life, our ability to do things. Now, we can think about it in terms of individual tasks, or we can think about it in our general kind of self-confidence, how we feel about ourselves and whether or not we can manage life, right? We can manage the big things in life, whether we feel that we are good enough. Okay, so self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, they all overlap, but I kind of think of self-confidence as being just the overarching kind of how we feel about doing stuff. Now, we can have self-confidence in some areas but not in other areas. So we can have real confidence at doing one thing or many things, but really lack confidence at doing certain other things, right? So I know my strengths. I know what I'm really good at. I know that I'm really good at my job. I have real confidence in the job that I do. I have real confidence in my ability to be a good mum. I have confidence in lots of things, right? The things that I enjoy doing, I feel really good at and I feel really passionate about. I'm confident that I'm a good friend, right? There are things that I don't feel confident at doing, and that's okay. I'm giving you this distinction because it's important to understand this, right? There are things that I don't feel confident in doing. So I don't feel confident in public speaking, right? I wouldn't feel confident standing in a stage in front of like hundreds of people and talking. I lose my nerve. I'm fine on camera like this. But I know, generally speaking, this is self-confidence. The overarching general description of self-confidence, in my opinion, is that I know that I can do things if I put my mind to it. I know that I have the ability to do things because I'm determined, because I'm confident, right? Because I know my limits, but I know my strengths, and so therefore I feel confident in what I am able to do. Now, this is an important distinction. Okay, so it's important to know. It's important to know what we're good at. It's important to know what we're not good at. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. None of us are good at everything. But what's really important for me, right, when I understand myself, when I work with my clients, when I really help them to make the big shifts that they need to make in order for them to grow, not just in confidence, but then for them to grow in life, in their relationships, in all of the things that they do, is to really understand where the root of these confidence issues, strengths or issues, come from. And there's not enough talk about this, and I don't understand why we don't talk about this a lot more often, because it's fundamental, right? We can do exercises, we can all do exercises to make us to improve our self-confidence. But ultimately, the only way you're really going to improve your self-confidence is by understanding the root of your confidence issues, by really understanding the root of you. And that stems from your childhood, right? It always stems from your childhood. You know, I was a social worker for 18 years. I worked within the social work field, and which was from my early 20s, right? So I see this play out time and time again. Social work, counselling, couples counselling, life coaching. It's the same stuff that happens time and time again. Until we really understand our past, we can't make changes for our future. Now, that doesn't mean to say that everybody's past is dark, right? It's not about having a dark past. It's not about there being major issues that you need to uncover. It's just about understanding it. It's about understanding how you fit into family life when you were a child growing up, how you fit into your extended family, how you fit in at school, how you saw your wider community, understanding those millions and millions and millions of lessons that you learn every single day growing up, predominantly from your family, right? Because as a child, your world is your family. Your world isn't the greater community. But obviously, as you grow up and you're going to school, you're going to nursery, you're going to school, you're growing up and you're learning from your peers, all these lessons go into your mind, go into your brain and form your sense of self. And this is what self-confidence is your sense of self. It's how you feel about yourself and how able you feel to do things, whether or not, it's a bit like the mindset thing. It's very much like the mindset thing. Is your cup half empty or half full? Like, can you generally do things or can you generally not do things? You can generally do things, right? Everybody can do things, but it's how you feel about yourself and whether you feel able enough to do those things. And whether or not you learned growing up that you were supported and encouraged and praised for doing well, but praised for not doing well, right? For praised that when you didn't succeed at something, that you were praised for trying, that you were praised for being courageous and doing something even though it frightened you. These are all the lessons that are so important. These are all the lessons that I instill in my children. Like, you don't have to get it right all the time, you just have to try, right? But if you didn't have that growing up, if you weren't encouraged, if you weren't supported, if you were only praised for things that you did well, if you were slated or ridiculed for things that you didn't do well, if you were told you were stupid, if you were told you were worthless, right? All of these things, even if they weren't said to you repeatedly, but just said to you just enough that you then took that and held on to that forever, then that affects every single decision you're ever going to make. Because every single decision that you've ever made is going to stem from that to a degree, right? So we can remember the good things and we can remember the bad things. And sometimes we don't even remember the good or the bad, but they just become a part of us. And so when they become a part of us, that forms who we are. So remember, we're talking about how we feel about ourselves now as adults and whether or not we believe in ourselves enough to do things, to try new things, to succeed at things. And I can give you all of the exercises for that. I do give you exercises for that when we work together. But until we get down to the root cause of it, the exercises are just superficial. They won't have lasting effect because we need to really understand what's at the root in order for it to make lasting change. So there you go. That's just a quick overview, self-confidence, and not so much how to improve it, but what you need to do to really understand why you don't have it. And then, like I said, when you understand that, then we can start to build on that together. So I hope that's been helpful. I'm sticking with this theme for the rest of the week. And if you would like to know any more about how to work with me, how to improve your self-confidence, your relationships, your life, and all the wonderful things that go with it, then check out the link above or below this video, or book a call with me to have a free, no pressure chat. All right, wishing you a lovely rest of day. Catch up with you guys soon. Bye bye.